Hello. Welcome. Today we'll be opening a Double Masters 3 booster draft pack. So, let's get started. Powerful glue. Let's save face by reading the box a little bit. 2 rares, 2 foils, 2 powerful. Think you're seeing double? Look again. Each pack of Double Masters contains 2 rare or mythic cards and a guaranteed 2 foils, reprints of popular cards. Special draft rule. Take 2 cards for your first pick each pack. Ooh, the bottom is easier. But not much. I ended up ripping off this there we go. It's kind of neat how they did that. Anyway, that's going in the trash. And we got 3 Double Masters 15 card booster packs with Scary Lady and 2 Scary Monsters. So let's sandwich. It's been a while since I looked up what was inside of each of these, so we'll see. First card, Dark Steel Axe. Costs colorless. It's an equipment artifact with indestructible. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equip for 2. Pay 2 and attach to target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Heavier than it looks, tricky to wield, guaranteed to last. Timur, or Teamer, I always say Timur in my head. Battle Rage. 1 and a red for an instant. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. It deals both first strike and regular combat damage. Ferocious. That creature also gains trample until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Twisted Abomination. 5 and a black for a 5/3 zombie mutant creature. With pay a black, regenerate Twisted Abomination, and swap cycling 2. Pay 2, discard this card. Search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Sift for 3 and a blue, sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card. Dwell the longest on the thoughts that shine brightest. Mirror Retriever. Costs 2. It's a 1/1 mirror artifact creature. When Mirror Retriever dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Mephedros gives up treasure easily. as long as you take its place. Urza's Mine. Land. Urza's Mine. Tap to add a colorless. If you control an Urza's power plant and an Urza's tower, add 2 colorless instead. In his hunger for power and knowledge, Urza dug deep into Dominaria's ancient past. In my hunger, right now, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat after this video. Metallic Rebuke. 2 and a blue, instant. With Improvise, your artifacts can help you cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done in activating mana abilities pays for 1. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Too little, too late. The machine is in motion, says Tezzeret. Ancestral Blade. 1 and a white. Equipment artifact. When Ancestral Blade enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then attach Ancestral Blade to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Equip for 1. Pay 1. Attach to a target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Fatal Push. Costs a black instant. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. Revolt. Destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. I've actually never heard of Revolt, so that's neat. Oubliette. 1 and 2 black for an enchantment. When Oubliette enters the battlefield, target creature phases out until Oubliette leaves the battlefield. Tap that creature as it phases in this way. Auras and equipment phase out with it, while permanents are phased out. They're treated as though they don't exist. That's neat. Cogwork Assembler. Costs 3 for a 2/3 assembly worker artifact creature. Pay 7. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact. That token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Duplication is neither thievery nor flattery. It is efficiency. Cool. And our first rare. Sword of the Meek. Costs 2. It's an equipment artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+2. Equip for 2. Whenever a 1/1 creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to the battlefield, then attach it to that creature. Cool. Our second rare, Conjurer's Closet. Costs 5. It's an artifact. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Oh. Tomorrow wears yesterday's face, says Cordell the Cryptic. Our first foil is Frogify. 1 and a blue for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power and toughness 1/1. It loses all other card types and creature types. That gnat was still hovering by the venison, and now both looked delicious. Our second foil, Supernatural Stamina, costs a black for an instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. All are not equal, neither in life nor after death. Bantu's favorites will stand highest in eternity, says Senefet, this year of Bantu. And we got a star green and white elemental creature token. I think this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. Second booster pack. No compass, no problem. Started off with Kazul's Toll Collector, 2 and a red for a 3/2 Ogre Warrior creature. Pay 0, attach target equipment you control to Kazul's Toll Collector. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Travelers are advised to bring extra swords, preferably shiny ones. Bone Picker, 3 and a black for a 3/2 bird creature. This spell costs 3 less to cast if a creature died this turn. It has flying and death touch. They are the first to greet dissenters on their journey into exile. Salivating Gremlins, 2 and a red for a 2/3 gremlin creature. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Salivating Gremlins gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. If an elf can dream it, and a dwarf can build it, and a gremlin can eat it. Costly Plunder, 1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Draw 2 cards. No Lock of Iron is a match for Vraska's Will of Stone. Pyrite Spellbomb. Costs 1. It's an artifact. Pay a red and sacrifice Pyrite Spellbomb. It deals 2 damage to any target. Pay 1 and sacrifice Pyrite Spellbomb to draw a card. Melt that which was never frozen. Spellbomb Inscription. Fairy Mechanist, 3 and a blue for a 2/2 Fairy Artificer artifact creature with flying. When Fairy Mechanist enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Surge Node. Costs 1, it's an artifact. Surge Node enters the battlefield with 6 charge counters on it. Pay 1 and tap. Remove a charge counter from Surge Node. Put a charge counter on target artifact. Without a foe to focus on, the Machine Priests had time to indulge in new sciences. Strength of Arms. Costs a white. It's an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control an equipment creature, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. We fight not for Avacyn, but for her ideals. Not for the church, but for its people, says Thalia, guardian of Thraben. Mishra's Factory. Land. Tap to add a House. Pay 1. Mishra's Factory becomes a 2/2 assembly worker artifact creature until end of turn. It is still a land. Tap. Target assembly worker creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Skull Mulcher. 4 and a green for a 3/3 elemental creature with Devour 1. As this enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield with that many +1/+1 counters on it. When Skull Mulcher enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature it devoured. Path to Exile. Costs a white. It's an instant. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library. Time Sieve. Costs a blue and a black. It's an artifact. Tap. Sacrifice 5 artifacts. Take an extra turn after this one. I pray that I am never considered useless or old, says Sharum the Hegemon. Swift Blade Vindicator. Costs a red and a white for a 1/1 human soldier creature. Has double strike, vigilance, and trample. A Swift Blade is an artist. Each fiery trail of their blades a fleeting masterpiece traced on the air. Ash Barrens. Land. Tap to add a colorless. Has basic land cycling 1. Pay 1, discard this card, search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Pure Steel Paladin. Costs 2 white. For a 2/2 human knight creature. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Has Metalcraft. Equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you have 3 or more artifacts. Copy. Token. This token can be used to represent a token that's a copy of a permanent. Cool. That seemed good. I don't actually know. Sanctum Gargoyle. 3 and a white for a 2/3 gargoyle artifact creature with flying. When Sanctum Gargoyle enters the battlefield, you may return a target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. As their supplies of Ethereum dwindled, mechanists sent gargoyles farther and farther afield in search of salvage. Whisperer of the Wilds. 1 and a green for a 0/2 human shaman creature. Tap to add a green. Ferocious. Tap to add 2 green instead. Activate this ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. She speaks only in whispers, but can be heard over the fiercest storm. Oops. Defiant Salvager. 2 and a black for a 2/2 Aetherborn Artificer creature. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on Defiant Salvager. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. I didn't survive that crash just so I could fall to the likes of you. Frogify. 1 and a blue for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power and toughness 1/1. It loses all other card types and creature types. That gnat was still hovering by the venison, and now both look delicious. Iron Bully. Costs 3 for a 1/1 golem artifact creature with menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. When Iron Bully enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Why would someone have built... Wait, never mind. Send it to the front lines, says Commander Grosden. Everflowing Chalice. Costs 0. It's an artifact with multi-kicker 2. You may pay an additional 2 any number of times as you cast this spell. Everflowing Chalice enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked. Tap to add a colorless for each charge counter on Everflowing Chalice. Apprentice Wizard. 1 and 2 blue for a 0/1 human wizard creature. Pay a blue and tap to add 3 colorless mana. Aspiring wizards must demonstrate basic levels of willpower and mental discipline to even be considered for an apprenticeship. Crusader of Odric. 2 and a white for a star human soldier creature. Crusader of Odric's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. We are Odric's sword. We strike without fear, for his mind has divined how our foe will be slain. Bloodshot Trainee. 3 and a red for a 2/3 goblin warrior creature. Tap. Bloodshot Trainee deals 4 damage to target creature. Activate this ability only if Bloodshot Trainee's power is 4 or greater. Just think of how strong I'll be if my arms don't tear off. Gelatinous Genesis. Costs XX and green. Sorcery. Create XXX green ooze creature tokens. Even as the world was left cracked and gory by the marauding Eldrazi, new life began to drip from its wounds. Gore Clan Rampager. 2, a red and a green for a 4/4 beast creature with trample, and Blood Rush for a red and a green. Discard Gore Clan Rampager. Target attacking creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until end of turn. The Simic come from the cold, slow depths. How could they understand the fire in a wild heart, says Krushkar, Gruul Shaman. Vexing Shusher. Costs 2 red-green hybrid mana for a 2/2 goblin shaman creature. This spell can't be countered. Pay a red-green hybrid. Target spell can't be countered. The stench of bloodcat mushrooms on the breath is enough to ward off even the most potent magics, especially when combined with a special chant. Hush. Phyrexian Metamorph. 3 and a blue Phyrexian mana for a 0/0 artifact creature shapeshifter. The Phyrexian mana can be paid with either a blue mana or 2 life. You may have Phyrexian Metamorph enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Fierce Empath. 2 and a green for a 1/1 elf creature. When Fierce Empath enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Oval Chase Daredevil. 3 and a black for a 4/2 human pilot creature. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Oval Chase Daredevil from your graveyard to your hand. Let me guess, you thought I was dead. And we got a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Thanks for watching.